Hi guys, welcome to, what is it,
April's Q&A, number 2.
Q&A. So this is basically an Ask Me Anything, what is it, an AMA?
Yeah, I guess so,
AMA.
but we're not on Reddit, so...
AMA, so basically Ask Me Anything. I know a little bit about everything about scuba.
I think I know more.
Whoa. I've been in the industry for a little while and I've seen a little bit of everything. So yeah, if you've got any questions, let us know in the comments. If I don't know the answer to something, I will say, but I will try and work it out for you and let you know later on.
Yes, we got their emails again, so we did another form for the blog. So again, if you can't answer it, or if it needs a bit more in-depth off-screen research, Mark will get in contact with you. We've got your email address. So yeah.
Cool. So this is recorded live.
Well, technically you're right. It is recorded live, but it's not live.
But our camera only lasts about 10 minutes before it switches off, so there's going to be a little bit of editing kind of in between. But I've not heard any of these questions before, so yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, it should be fun.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. I know the questions. None of them are to do with scuba diving. Right, so the first question, should I say, is from Cassandra NG. She says, hello, hi Mark, how are you? She says here, actually Shaun's better than you. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't say that.
It does not say that. Do you recommend taking both your open water and advanced open water courses together, as some companies, have that as an option?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I did it, but I was kind of on a time constraint. I was going to work abroad and they needed me at a certain level, so I just went boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's good for a couple of reasons, because you're kind of in that mindset, you're in that kind of learning sort of, it's kind of all sort of in one sort of easy stream. It's very natural to go straight from your open water to your advanced. The only downside is I'm not a huge fan, and quite a few other people online aren't, of the advanced open water, because at 9 dives,
You're a pro, mate. You're ready to go cave diving.
that's it. It's not really, you need to not see that kind of title as, I'm an advanced diver. You are, but still be humble. But yeah, it is a real good way of really sort of going straight to it. Most people go to at least advanced open water and then kind of hang at that level, that recreational level, because it gets you down to the 30 meters and you get to see a little bit of the other specialities, the other directions that you can go while scuba diving. So yeah, I'm quite happy with students going straight to advanced after open water. But then after that, then spend some time actually diving.
Yeah, get those numbers up.
Yeah.
9's a rookie number, as they say in Wolf of Wall Street. I hope that has answered your question. Next one is from P. Gardner. With all the advances in dive computers, do you think dive watches are obsolete, except, they look cool to wear and identify you as a macho scuba diver? I can answer this one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the only benefit of having a analog sort of wristwatch is that kind of redundant backup. So if...
Redundant backup?
Yeah, so if your dive computer, if the battery sort of runs out or it floods, whatever happens, you still have a sort of constant stopwatch that tells you how long you've been in the water, so you can work out your safety stops. So it is good to have an analog backup. If I'm ever diving with a wireless air transmitter, I always have my analog SPG, but realistically, as long as you look after your dive computer, it's a bit redundant. They do look good.
That's it. It's like those iPhone watches things, the iWatch. They're not useful. They're just meant to make you look cool. You heard it here first, guys. I hope that answered your question, even though it's pretty obvious one, really, isn't it? They look cool. They're really Yeah,
I've got a few in my drawer back home.
I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. So the next question is from Dennis White. He says he's been diving for a while now, and he's going to be doing his rescue course in July this year, which is awesome. Well done. What would you say is a good time to get experience in, obviously, before going on to your dive master and eventually an instructor? So that's the first part.
Okay.
And then his second part is what specialities would you say is a must before he goes on to his instructor course?
Okay, so you're doing your rescue and then going on to DM. So once you've done your rescue's very good at sort of expanding your bubble of awareness, and this is how I explained it to my students, is that when you first start, your bubble's really small, and it's basically all you can focus on is kind of yourself. And then as you get to rescue, your bubble expands and it starts to increase to other people. So then you're paying attention.
I don't want to be in your bubble, mate.
You're paying attention to what's going on with them, which is great for Divemaster, because you need to be comfortable in your own sort of equipment and skill sets, so that you can then start paying attention to other people, seeing if there's any potential faults. So after you do your rescue, it's really great to sort of rack up your dive count. Liverboard's a really good way of doing that, because it's really intensive. It's like up to 4 dives a day, and there's a minimum dive count of Divemaster and instructor. You have to hit 60 dives.
You've been going on for so long that our Q&A thing is running.
Before you can, so 60 dives before you can start or finish. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've taught a DM. And then you have to have 100 dives before you can start your instructor course. After you do your DM, I usually recommend spend a year as a dive master, because then that gives you a lot of time and a lot of dives around students, because that's going to build your confidence and your awareness level, and you're also going to learn a lot from your instructor on how to structure your own courses when you become an instructor. And you kind of build up a routine. My routine when I teach different courses, a lot of it's taken from my original instructor and the chap that I used to teach with. And it just builds that routine. You can spend your time, and then you know if you've forgotten something because it doesn't feel right. As far as specialities, nitrox, and probably equipment specialist when you're becoming an instructor, so that you can kind of fix things on the fly. But other than that, if you're diving in the UK, then dry suit. I never dive without my dry suit in the UK anymore. But other than that, unless you really want to specialize in something in particular, I wouldn't worry too much about card collecting.
I love card collecting. You've got to catch them all. So the next question is from Branson Merrill. Hi. It says, I'm just starting out and I'm noticing all of the different agencies that you can get certified through. Is there one that you would recommend based off of their quality of teaching?
Not really.
Cool, thanks.
There are a few. Some of them are kind of regional. So in the UK, we have BZAC, and they're definitely recognised in the UK. They're recognised in a lot of other sort of places. But some dive sites around the world, if you rock up with your BZAC membership card, they won't recognise it. So they might be a little bit sort of iffy. PADI is the biggest. They're recognised all over the world. But it's very much what's sort of personal to you. So spend a little time at the beginning, kind of doing your research, looking at the courses, speaking to instructors, because ultimately if you don't get on with your instructor, you're going to have a bad time. You're not going to enjoy it. It's very much just have a look around, have a chat, see if you can get hold of any sort of course materials, just kind of flick through them. If it appeals to you and you can read it quite easily, then go with that. But there's no one true. Yeah. Closest thing is PADI, but there are so many others. SSI, SAA, they're all sort of getting in there. They're all good. One of the newest ones is RAID. They're a bit more digital, so they're getting a bit more futuristic. But they more aim you at the sort of rebreather route, which can be quite technical.
Okay.
So but I did their very first course and one of their rebreather courses online, and they put you through your paces. You'll be a very good diver if you do your RAID sort of open water course.
There you go, maybe RAID. I'll just think of the bug spray. I hope that helps. kind of, maybe. Yeah, never mind. So this next one's from Anthony Yang. He's my favourite because he's the first person out of all the people that have emailed questions in that says, "Hello, Mark and Shaun." So thank you very much. He's just wondering if you did anything, Mark, obviously this is not going to apply to me, special on your 100th dive to remember it.
No.
Oh, what?
No.
You didn't like get naked or anything? Isn't that a thing? You have to get naked?
That is the...
The naked dive at 100?
Yeah, no.
I reckon you did, you're just not saying.
I lost
Comment
count.
below if you think he actually did do naked diving at 100. I reckon he did.
No, because I did a lot of marine conservation dives when I very started diving out, and I lost count. So when I actually got to 100 dives...
you were naked?
I don't know, it could have been whenever. No, lame, but yeah.
You just lost. Half our subscribers now, they've just unsubscribed because of that.
My 100 dive was probably in the UK, so I wasn't going to do that.
I reckon. Right, guys. If we can get 3,000 likes on this video, that's what they said on YouTube. 15,000 likes. Your next dive has to be in the UK, and it's got to be naked.
Okay, summer's coming.
No, I'm not filming it though. I'll just pixelate everything.
Yeah, we can pixelate it.
15,000 likes to get that. We'll make that happen. Anyway, there you go. So you're boring, basically. You're boring.
I lost count.
Whatever. You can't even count past 10.
Hatui Connolly
Hopefully. Asks, I'm 17, but I'm getting my training to be a dive. I'm going to start again. So he's 17. I'm getting my training for Divemaster. Obviously, I can't get certified until he's 18, or she. I believe it's a he though. What gear do you recommend for a new Divemaster student that lives in Puerto Rico? So I'm guessing freezing cold Arctic conditions.
So bare minimum, you need mask, fins, and dive computer. Realistically, at DM level, you want your own regulators because you don't want to be using school regs, and your own BCD. And then on from that, something to get your students' attention. I used to have a quacker.
A what?
It's like a little air horn underwater, and it connects to your BCD inflator.
Oh,
hose.
I know those. We've done the video for it. He's like, "Here, Shaun, listen." I'm like, I cannot hear.
Other than that, just anything specific to your area. As a DM, the best thing you need is a good pair of eyes so that you're paying attention to everything. No, I mean, mask and fins, bare minimum. Dive computer is an essential nowadays. Regs and BCD and any exposure protection like a wetsuit.
And a massive knife. That's what all divers should have.
Mine's about that big.
Well, that's a very personal question, Mark. And we've got that on film now. You have a small
dive
knife. I hope that answers your question. This is probably going to be the last Q&A we do. Right, so next one is from Johnny Batiste. Batiste. Okay. So he wants to buy a dry suit. Yep. He's going on the heli training for it very soon. Cool. Money isn't a problem.
Nice.
So what would you advise getting? The Waterproof DX1 looks good after watching your review of it. So thank you very much for watching that video.
Yeah, D1X is nice. It has the built-in undersuit, but a guy that I went diving with up in the Arctic, he had the predecessor, just the D1 hybrids, and he found it very buoyant, which isn't the end of the world, but it just means that you have to remember plenty of leads. I recommend front entry. Makes your life so much easier, especially if it's been a long dive and you really need to pee. You don't have to wait for someone else to unzip you.
I have to unzip you every day when you need to pee.
Silicone seals, because if you rip it, you can just swap it then and there. So we're still in the kind of D1. I'd probably lean more to the D7X, which is coming out very shortly if it isn't already arrived.
We did a review on that, well, not a review, like a little DSM.
Yeah.
We'll pop that up.
Yeah, D7X is basically a front entry version of the D1X. And Big pockets, look for pockets. I usually recommend neoprene socks because then you wear rock boots over the top of them, and if your rock boots wear out, you can just throw them away and then get another pair. Whereas with a dry suit with fixed boots, if the boots wear out, then you have to spend a lot of money replacing those, and your dry suit's out of commission for a little bit. Yeah, so membrane, front entry, silicone seals, socks if you can get them, and pockets.
And it has to be black. Just like everything else in Scuba.
So you blend in.
Yep.
And your students can't see you.
Yep. So Marcus, the next question is from Jakob Lutzen.
Hello.
When should me and my girlfriend get certified? Here at home in Denmark or somewhere warmer perhaps. We are planning to do it here in September. I probably won't mind the cold, but I'm not sure my girlfriend will be turned off from actually diving.
Yeah.
Hold on, I haven't finished. It's quite a long. Oh, so there's only a sentence. If the first experience is miserable, you know, it could affect that. And obviously, how cold is it usually in colder waters? That's kind of a vague question.
Yeah, it's a great question actually because
well done.
Because yeah, I was always very torn when I was teaching students in the UK because if they have a really rubbish first experience, they think, oh, is this what scuba diving's like? And then they just never do it again. So,
which is the correct way of doing things, Mark.
So what you can do is you can do all of the, especially with PADI, you can do the confined water section, you can do all of your book work and your pool work at home in your country, and then you have a year to then go to any other PADI dive site around the world and then do your 4 open water dives. Okay. So that's a great way of getting all the boring stuff done at home in your own time. And then when you're going on holiday somewhere nice, you can then do your 4 dives and then you're qualified. So that way you're building your skills up. If you then want to go and do cold water diving, you can then progress onto that. But you need sort of different exposure protection. Cold water, I mean, officially anything below 10 degrees Celsius is cold water.
And that's our summer temperature, 10 degrees.
But yeah, realistically, I mean, I'm in my dry suit whenever it drops below 20, because when you're exposed to cold water for that length of time, it really saps the heat out.
I think you should just man up.
And a dry suit makes a world of difference. Hoods as well. But some people, they're just not, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
No, you got to keep doing it until you do enjoy it.
So yeah, I mean, I'd recommend doing the first part of the course, all the book learning and any sort of pool work at home, because then you can practice that and then go on holiday once you've got that section signed off, and then you can do it again out in open water, get your certificate, and then you're on holiday.
Cool, man. So yeah, split it. That's quite a... You're pretty smart at these sorts of things.
I've played this game before.
So the next one, I don't know whether this is his genuine name. I reckon he's made it up. But if it is your genuine name, you've got a cool name. Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve. Yeah.
I'm having trouble reaching my BC hose in my dry suit. I wear a heavy dry suit with heavy undergarments. I'm thinking about switching from a generic jacket BCB to a backplate. Any recommendations? Also, love the channel, and it says here, Shaun is the best.
Yeah, definitely get rid of jackets and move on to backplate and harnesses. So I went straight into DIR, which is sort of doing it right or diving it right. And so if you're diving a dry suit, then I'm guessing you're diving in colder waters. So you're going to need sort of extra lead, extra sort of trim weight to get you down. So a steel backplate. Aluminium backplates are nice and light, so you can travel with them, but they don't give you any extra weight, whereas a decent sort of 3mm or even a 6mm stainless steel backplate will add a sort of a kilo of lead, and it's nice and close to your body, so it's nice and trim. A single piece sort of harness, so 2-inch webbing is both of your shoulder straps, and then it becomes your waistband. That gives you better control of where your D-rings sit and how many D-rings and where you put them. A lot of the kind of pre-formed and pre-made harnesses, They got padding, which is nice, but you got your undersuit and your dry suit, so you don't need any extra padding. And they just got way too many D-rings. You only need one on each shoulder and one on your hip, realistically. Everything else can go in thigh pockets or in your butt.
You have a scuba diving butler though. He carries all your gear. Butler? Alfred?
My backup torch.
There's probably people out there that have that.
Yeah. If you're diving on a single, then just a single wing is fine. Doubles, you need a separate, a twin wing. But yeah, backplates and harnesses, steel, definitely, and a single piece solo harness.
There you go. I hope that helps. Cool. So the next one is from Grant Calhoun. He says, what gear do you personally use and why do you use it over other brands? Now, this was touched upon on the last Q&A, so I don't think you need to go into great depths because that was about 7 flipping hours long. So what I'll do though, I'll also pin that now, so something should have popped up in the time zone for that question as well. But yeah, you can if you want to.
I will do the basics. I will do my computer, my mask, and my fins. And maybe my BCD and my regs.
and your
my dry
reel, my dry suit.
I mean,
my
my
backup
mask.
set.
My mask, I've got a Atomic Venom frameless mask, and that's because it's got the gummy bear seal. It has the same clo rating, which is like the hardness rating of a gummy bear. So it's very soft and it seals against your face very effectively.
Thing. I've got the gummy bear.
Means that it doesn't apply too much pressure to my face. Also means that it seals across here. And it's got really nice glass on it, very clear. My fins, I have Apex RK3 fins. They're short, so I'm not kicking people in the face. And if I'm in confined spaces, I don't have to worry about hitting things. They're tough. They're made out of a single piece of monoprene, and they're vented, so they just shift you through the water. Dive computer is a Shearwater Perdix. Big color screen, very customizable. You can adjust everything down to your gradient factors, and it's very easy to see. This is nice because it's got a smaller screen.
Do you know how many comments we're getting about the Terek in your product video, especially the D5 review video? Everyone's like, you're wearing a Terek?
Yeah. It's a very good dive computer, and it's basically the same thing but shrunk down, and it does have apnea freediving mode if you're snorkeling.
The only cool thing about that, the Terek, is the Predator mode, the green screen. I love that.
BCD, I just use backplates and harnesses, and then just change the wing depending on what I'm doing. Regs, Apex XTX 50 with the DST, because that's got a swivel turret and a 5th port. I don't see the massive benefit of the XTX 200, so I just stick with the 50. I could go on, I've got a lot of stuff.
Dry suit, name your dry suit, come on.
My dry suit is a 4th Elements Argonaut Kevlar, because it's breathable, it's front entry, so you can get in and out of it.
At the front, that's pretty convenient.
Yep. It's got a plastic zipper, which is much more flexible and much easier to do all by yourself.
You're adding plastic pollution there.
Yeah. It's got a P-valve fitted for those longer dives, and yeah, because they do 2 different versions. They do the Kevlar and then the sort of Flex, the standard version. Now they've added an extra one, which is kind of half and half. The Kevlar is breathable, so when you're on the surface in between dives, if it's kind of raining, you don't get all like hot and clammy because it's still breathable, like a raincoat.
Yeah.
But you're not actually getting wet from the rain, so you don't have to unzip it.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. And as I say, what we'll do, it should have pinned up. We'll stick the time code because you go in. That's a very long. The whole reason why that last Q&A was about 45 minutes was 40 minutes to talk about your kit. That one question. I've never been so bored in my whole life.
That's just my cold water kit. I haven't even got into DSMBs and spools and knives and everything else.
So the next question is from Alex Ball. How many qualifications do you have and what are they in scuba diving?
Struth. A few. I got all the way up to, so I basically PADI instructor, and then I kind of went in a different direction. Then I went more towards raid and more specialist, the rebreather sort of side of things. It's been a while since I've looked at my cards. The one that I use most is just my PADI instructor card, because that's kind of a dual seal. If I'm doing something specialist, then I'll whip out side mount and whatnot. I don't know, quite a few.
Come on. So you got your rescue card? You got your rebreather?
So open water, advanced, rescue, DM, nitrox, assistant instructor, and then 2 different rebreathers, side mount.
Anything else that you can think of?
Probably. I kind of got away from the whole qualification side of it, and then just
focused on actually diving.
Yeah,
like you say, it's not always
training.
about getting the ticket. You got to get the ticket. You should get the ticket up until a certain point.
Once you hit that kind of instructor, just kind of get experience by doing it instead of getting a qualification.
Yeah. PADI, you're there. No, Mark, don't say that. You need all the cards.
Yeah, collect the cards.
Got to catch them all.
I mean, put it this way, I've never done my dry suit speciality. Just...
You think you know someone, guys. You think you know someone. Okay, so there we go. That was a very... answer. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, Alex. So the next one is from Jen Thornley. I want to swap to twin tanks on my back. Do you need to do a course? And also, what equipment would I need? Also, is a Cressy Starter BCD compatible with a twin tank diving? Cheers, Jed.
So twins, definitely the way to go, because you have sort of redundancy. You'll have a manifold connecting the two with a shut-off valve, so you can switch it off if something goes wrong. You basically need 2 sets of regulators, sort of 1 for each valve. But no, I'd steer away from recreational BCDs. Some of them might have the attachment points and the buoyancy to take twins, but backplate and wing is where you'll end up, because they're so much more rigid and flexible. At the same time, you can adjust it to exactly what you need. I mean, you need 2 cylinders, twinning bands, you need the twinning bolts, backplate harness wing, 2 regulators. You only really need 1 SPG. I see a lot of people asking for 2 SPGs. It's a bit redundant. That's kind of it. Just look up sort of DIR long primary hose setups, because that's really the way to go. 2.1 meter long hose.
There you go. Cool. So don't bother with your BCD. Just go straight onto back on wings.
Backplate, yeah. It might feel more expensive at the beginning, but actually you'll buy the Cressy, and then you'll just get rid of that and then buy a backplate and harness.
Yeah. So just cut the middleman out. Just go. If you're definitely going to be doing it, just go straight to the core.
Yeah. Do it properly.
Yeah. Do it properly. Cool. Do you need any qualifications or anything?
There's
probably a PADI course. There's blatantly a PADI course.
There must be. I'd do it with someone that dives twins the very sort of first time. I'd do it with an instructor if you can, because you need to learn shutdown drills and sort of how it all kind of affects you. And just to sort your buoyancy out, because all of a sudden you have a lot of weight on the top, especially if you're diving like 12 steels. I'd do it with someone first. There probably is a course out there which is the best way to do it, but if you can do it sort of with an instructor who's a friend, then do that.
Cool. So the next question is from K Meow. Maui. Hello. It says, hello! Shaun's the best. And I was wondering... Sorry, I've stopped doing that now. I was wondering about good diving out here in Hawaii. I've just got my open certification. So, do you know any cool dive spots in Hawaii?
Not firsthand. I've never been that way. It's the other side of the planet.
So that was a great question. Well done.
What I know about Hawaii... main island, the big one, Hawaii, is kind of like the west coast, I think is quite good. There's a crater.
Just trying to think, guys. I can
It's
see
like
the cogs.
it's like Molokini something. It's off like the second island. That's really good for sharks.
It always invokes confidence when you talk up like that.
Oahu, which is one of the other islands, that's got a couple famous wrecks on it, I believe.
Right, what we're going to do, that was a good answer, but if you have dived in Hawaii, whack it in the comments below,
Yeah.
let us know what you think, and let's help this person out.
Depends what you're looking for as well, because some people are into like caves and whatnot, which I think one of the islands is good for. Others is good for like big pelagic stuff. Others is for like lava and things. So it depends what you're looking for. But Google, there's lots.
Google it.
There's lots of Google results out there, I'm sure.
Google it. Cool. Right, there we go. That probably didn't help you. So, but yeah, comment below, guys. Let's get around. Next question is from Matt Scuba 2412. So as you can see, this is taken from YouTube.
Future.
Yeah, the future. I've been diving for 2 years and always wanted to get into tech diving so I could dive some of the deeper wrecks. But recently, someone in my club has sadly died at Chepstow, and it's made me wonder if I'm good enough to do it or not. What would you recommend? Give up my dream out of diving scupper, truck, or carry on with my tech training so I can eventually dive my dream sites?
Yeah, so first of all, sorry to hear about your friend.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, in a way, this is a really good mindset that you have. You always have to be a little bit apprehensive about a dive because you have to take it seriously, especially when you're going to sort of more technical depths. You have to be more squared away and kind of sure that your gear and whatnot is all sort of in good working order. I wouldn't give up on the dream. I just use it as a teaching, kind of a learning
curve.
Yeah, and just take your time. Don't rush into it. You spent 2 years diving, so just keep doing what you're doing. Go through your courses, get your nose in the books, and learn about the kind of the theory, how your equipment works, and then sort of slowly make your way and build yourself up to that sort of technical diver where you're comfortable in yourself, you're sort of confident in your equipment and all of your training and your skills, so you can then go hit those depths reliably, get yourself a good team, other team divers that are with you, and yeah, don't rush it, but keep that goal and go for it.
So from a non-diving experience, I think the person that sadly had passed away from diving would never want that to stop other people from diving.
Yeah.
They would want it like, no, you've got to crack on. It's a sport that you love, and I think it's just within yourself. You know, if you go down that depth, you're ready to go down there, but you just have a gut feeling like, do you know what, I'm not feeling it. Just be big enough to be like, no, I'm not going, or I'm only going to go and do you know, I'm not going to go down deep. You know, you just got to have that cut-off point. So if you've always got that, and you've got the confidence, and it's not a bad thing never to say no to something. You know, if it's life and death, if you're not feeling it, then just don't do it.
Yeah. Today's not your day. Just
just call it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing. You know, you'll be on board, living it up. Eating and drinking.
Maybe not a scupper float.
Well, okay. Getting a bit seasick. Yeah, cool. So the next question, Mark, is from Never Ending Gamer. What's the craziest dive you have ever been on? That's it. Yeah, craziest dive. Anything weird happens? Like you saw something like a grey white shark came in and said, hello.
I was on a night dive with my aunt, actually, in the Red Sea, and we're kind of swimming along, kind of torches, and then all of a sudden this huge fish, and I still to this day don't actually know what it is, just swam underneath us. It was like an 8-foot-long barracuda, and that just went, whoo! So I go swimming after it. My aunt's first response is to swim away from it.
Well, there you go.
And then later on, I don't know whether it was on that dive, it was definitely on that trip. I was on a pinnacle on a night dive again, and I was kind of looking around, and you can hear the shaker going off in the background. You're like, oh. And
You love shakers, as everyone would know from the video would have been released by now.
And then all of a sudden, the dive guide, who wasn't on the dive, sort of comes up, and I don't think he was even wearing his BCD. He was just like clutching it, and he sort of comes up to me and he tells me, Mark, and I was like, what? And he's like, there's a manta. And underneath the boat where they got the floodlights sort of coming off, this bait ball had sort of formed, and there was this manta ray just kind of swooping through them, kind of hunting. So we all kind of went to the, just underneath the boat and switched off all our lights, and we just watched this manta ray just kind of swooshing around.
That's cool.
The weirdest thing was, in my head, it should have been making noises, but it was just silent. I don't know why, but something in my mind kind of said that this big thing
do you know why?
should have been going, meow.
You've got that Planet Earth or whatever program. Yeah, like they add stuff and noises all the time. So yeah, that was probably someone closing a window or something. You know, the Foley artists.
Yeah, so that's probably the closest thing to a crazy. I almost got stuck in a cave once.
There you go. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You're too fat.
I can elaborate if you want. No.
It's too fat. You ate too many pies.
No, the dive guide sort of said, oh, why don't you take this group through this sort of cavern system, and then basically I'll see you later. So I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of swam in,
knew.
and I was kind of leading these other sort of two divers through, and it kind of took a dog leg, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's very beautiful, cascading light coming through and everything, and then kind of up. The only route kind of went up and then around a corner, but I couldn't see around it. And I didn't know whether it was just a swim through or whether it was kind of swim as far as you can, stop, turn around, come back, and we'll see you later. And I was kind of like, right, you two wait here, and I'm just going to poke my head around the corner. Kind of poke my head around the corner. It was just a dead end. So I was like, oh, okay. Kind of went to back fin. It just went clonk. And you're like, oh, no. And it's like, clonk. And you're like, oh. Eventually just had to wiggle.
Shimmy.
And then kind of back fin. Yeah.
And you call yourself a professional. Cool, that's a cool story. So the next one is from Douglas Ashmore. He wants to know tips for beginning open water divers. Should he rent his equipment, or is there, buy one thing at the time, or shell out the money for everything? So rent, get some bits, or just go full whack.
So go for mask. Mask would be the first thing that I buy because school masks ain't great, and that does make a world of difference. After that, take your time a little bit because you don't really know what kind of diver you're going to be, so you don't want to buy something that you feel that is good for you right now, and then 2 years later go, oh, why did I buy that? Yeah. So spend a little time, look around, speak to people, see what they recommend, and kind of think about what kind of diver you want to be in the future, because you don't want to be stuck with like a warm water set of regulators, and then you want to dive in cold waters, then you've got to sell those and buy another set. Yeah, take a little bit of time. But when you very first start out, buy your mask. That's probably about it.
A massive knife.
Yeah, then maybe like your dive computer, but again, spend time kind of researching what kind of dive computer. Don't bother, just
buy the Terric. It's basically what everyone's now doing. Just buy the Terric. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Fins?
Fins.
Wetsuit?
No, because wetsuit depends on where you're diving. You can rent wetsuits, they're not great, but you don't want to invest in like a 3mm and then realise that you need a 5.
Rebreather? Get that straight away.
Eventually, yeah, dropping 10k.
Yeah, why not? Cool, man. So the next question is from Tristan Daniels. Just recently got my open advanced water cert, and I know I need to finally get a computer.
Cool.
I know eventually I want to get into tech diving, so should I pay the money for a nice computer that will last me a long time, i.e. a certain dive computer called the Terric, I don't know if we know about this, or should I just start out with a cheaper one like the Sunto Viper, then upgrade later? Thanks.
If you're serious about it, then yeah, I'd probably sort of go full whack. go for, if you want a watch size tech dive computer, then Terek. Shearwater, at this point, can do no wrong. Everyone loves them online.
Yeah.
But
I've never known a company to have so much love. Like, no matter what they release, it's kind of like Elon Musk at the beginning before he went a bit weird.
Well, they're Canadian, so
They're cool, mate.
There is a argument for going for something like a Viper when you're starting out, and then getting a petrol or a Perdix, because then if you do move on to rebreathers, you can use the Viper engage mode as an analog, or not even analog, as a sort of a standalone kind of unit. So yeah, that's one way to do it, because your rebreather computer is going to be doing all the calculations on your sort of gas mixes, but then if you just want like a redundant backup, it's always recording how deep you are, but it's not going to shout at you for going down too deep or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, you can argue both ways.
My version would just be by the Terek because it looks cool.
Yeah, that's probably the cheaper way, because then you're only buying one dive computer.
And it does everything.
If you know you're going down the tech route, then yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be one of those things where if you know that, like you say, if you know that's the path that you want to take, you're definitely dedicated to take that, and you can reasonably afford to buy it. Yeah. It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, by the time you get to the technical state of diving as well, you'll understand your dive computer, what it's trying to tell you, how to navigate the menus. And like with the Perdix that I dive in, you get open circuit recreational mode, which kind of simplifies things, and then you can upgrade and sort of switch that to open circuit tech, which then gives you all the different deltas and everything, and sort of gradient factors and all that. And then you can use that for technical diving.
Yeah. Cool. I hope that answers your question. So we've got 2 questions left with the second to last question. So this one is from DSLR in budget. It's a YouTuber.
Budget camera.
Since you have all the access to the gear, why don't you start a dive section, I'm guessing, on the channel? Like filming actual dives. It's going to be awesome. You have real knowledge on the gear and you have all the access compared to, like the RK3 and Hollis F1 fins, and do things like that. So basically, ramp up.
Let's get wet.
Yeah, basically.
I'd love to.
But he also says, hold on, I'm going to finish. He says, keep up with it and nice work. So yeah, basically, he's just wondering why are we...
Don't do underwater stuff.
Why are we studio based quite a lot of the time?
The main problem is that we work for a company, and then if we film, then it becomes underwater filming whilst working, and then HSE gets involved, and I have to do, assessments, danger assessments, risk assessments, and HSE medicals, and all that kind of stuff. It's just... We haven't got to that stage yet. Yeah. If I'm doing it recreationally, my own kind of diving, because then I'm not getting paid to record this. Yeah. I also don't dive with cameras a lot. I don't like the extra hassle. I like to...
Well, it's not necessarily about you. It's also me being the person that films it. I don't scuba dive because my background isn't underwater videography. My background is studio based and up in the mountains. Yeah, it's more natural. I don't go down deep in the water. Yeah. And also, but the key thing is one, we don't actually physically have the time to do it.
True.
Because
I've got other stuff to do.
Again, normally YouTube channels, it depends on how big the channel is, but they have up to around about 10 people working on one channel, and it's literally the 2 of us.
Yeah, this is the video team.
Yeah, it's literally us. From concept ideas to filming to editing, and then obviously when I'm editing, Mark's got to think about what products he wants to film for reviews, and also as well he has to book on the website. So there's so many cogs.
Yeah, if we had a big team and we could alleviate all of the other work that Shaun and I had to do in the background that you guys don't see, Yeah, in an instant.
And the HR. That's the thing, because obviously there are people out there. There are amazing YouTube videos out there and channels that have dive tech, that have the lush, the beautiful vlog style intros, and they show you physically, the physical item under the water, and them using it. It's really, really good. That's great, but that would take at least a day to 2 days to film that sort of setup, and we just don't have the time to do it. And like Mark said, if it's yourself doing it, it's fine. You upload the video to your own channel, it's absolutely fine. But as soon as you start rolling it into a business, that's when HSC
gets involved.
And it's a headache that we would love to go, right, yeah, boom, this is it, this is what we've got the certs, we've got the paperwork, we can go and do this. Because we even thought about doing pool work, and even in the pool
paperwork, you've got to do risk assessment forms. It's
amazing, and it's not, people might go, it's a quick win. It's literally not. When it comes to filming, it's
filming in a public pool.
You've got the water, the electricity, there are so many variants to it that, again, people have teams dedicated just for that paperwork.
Yeah. And
we just sadly don't have the time. So it's something that we would absolutely 110 million% love to do.
Yeah.
It is the future. I would think it would be somewhere that, going down the line to improve our overall quality of the videos, that would be something, you're talking about the Terek. It would be awesome if we could film an underwater shot of the Terek. It would be brilliant to do that, but just right now it's not
feasible.
It's not feasible whatsoever. So hopefully, but I don't see it happening for a while, personally.
That's the kind of why.
Yeah, 'cause we get that quite a lot. There's a lot of comments that saying, why don't you... in simple things as well, a lot of people say, why don't you get it out of the box? Like, why don't you use it? Because I know you did that gel stuff that you put on there.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of comments are like, well, why don't you physically do it and put it on you? And I'm like... we don't have the time, and also it's a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Me filming Mark gelling himself up. There's a couple of guys, but
I can tease if you want more of that.
Scuba after dark. We definitely don't want that. But it's something that we would love to do.
Yeah,
we would love to
do it.
Open it out, like actually physically film, like the sea life cameras if we can get footage. I mean, some of the product videos as well, like with the underwater cameras, I have put from other YouTubers, or the actual, like say the Paralens, I've actually put their footage in that in the video. But the problem is the Article 13.
Yeah.
We cannot do that for much longer. I mean, I know Article 13 isn't going to happen anytime soon. It's got a 2-year plan for it to cross over. But there's no point in us using footage which the majority of our audience, or at least half of our audience, isn't going to be able to watch. It's literally going to be barred. It's going to say you're not allowed, you're not in the right country or region to watch this video. So it's one of those things where we have to physically film it ourselves.
That one pulled on a thread.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right. So we would love to do it. Paperwork, red tape is a bit of a problem at the moment.
Yeah.
We would like to do it though.
Yeah.
So next question, as I was going on that tangent, it's literally gone through all of the questions again, so I am now scrolling up. Right, so the most important question I have left till last. It is complex.
Cool. I'll get my calculator out.
Yeah, it is. You're going to be thinking about
gradient factor would I need for a dive to...
So it's from Daniel Davies. You already know, if you're watching this, you already know the question, Daniel. Would you rather have finger-sized legs or leg-sized fingers?
Leg-sized fingers.
Or finger-sized legs?
I'm going for leg-sized fingers.
Really?
Yeah, because finger-sized legs, you wouldn't be able to fin. You'd be...
you can
but you could have like massive...
Well, it'll be... Just the sheer weight though. Your arms would snap off.
Nah, you'd get strong, man. you get guns.
You'd-
And you could use all of that to just
So yeah, but
pull
with,
through the water.
with the fingers though, would the
Hand
foot,
signals would be tricky.
would it still attach the foot? Because if you then have
Yeah,
the,
go on then.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm up
You
for that.
Okay. There we have it, guys. That is it.
Most crucial question.
The most crucial question at the
and
end.
I made it about scuba diving.
You did. I'm very proud of you for that. But there we go. So second Q&A done. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Again, this has gone live on a Saturday, so I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend if you're watching it live. I say that live. We're not going to be premiering this one, but you would have found that out by watching this because we're not going to be able to monitor the Q&A this time round. So hopefully next time we can do that. Again, obviously we got some amazing feedback from our first Q&A. So we've done some tweaks, we've done some changes. Hopefully it isn't too long this episode, but never mind. To be fair though, a lot of people didn't complain about that. People still watched it, even though it was 45 minutes long.
It's interesting, man.
It got some good hits.
That's why.
So yeah, it's because you're interesting.
Uh-huh.
Actually, no, it's for me.
They like your t-shirts.
Yeah, my t-shirts. Look at this t-shirt.
Yeah.
Scuba. And
That's
this
my
one here.
favourite.
Yeah, man. Anyway, we've diverged. So yeah. So and again, if you want any suggestions, maybe we could tweak. We can edit some things. Let us know in the comments. And again, if this one gets a good amount of positive feedback, we'll do another one. So
Yeah.
we're not going to set this Q&A in stone just as of yet, because we're busy people. So
It's fun to do. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it too. It's nice. It's a nice break from the channel. It's more of a one-to-one because you don't really do that. Well, we don't do any of the one-to-ones really on any of our videos. So it's cool. Hopefully, as I say, we can do more of these going forward. But yeah, it just depends on whether this video gets likes. If it gets to 15,000, Mark's going to do a naked scuba dive.
That's going to be a thing now.
It is. I'm going to really push that. It's like a lot of people put, was it #certify Shaun for me to actually go diving.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we'll do that
do
anyway. Yeah, cool, man.
Oh, my twins are being serviced at the moment. I don't know when I'll get them back.
I don't want you to certify me. You'll kill me. You want my job. You just want to press buttons.
Here's your weight belt.
Here's your fins. Why are they concrete? It doesn't matter. Concrete fins. They're more aerodynamic in the water. Anyway, guys, we're going to stop blabbering now. I'm going to say goodbye.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Safe diving.
That's my line.
We are an online dive store serving the UK and the world for all your diving equipment needs. So why not visit us at simplyscuba.com or click the box on your screen.